Everyone, and welcome to Runaway Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us for this, I guess, virtual cocktail party and hopefully very informative discussion all about Puerto Morelos. Tonight, we're talking about buying and living in the gated communities on the beach side of Puerto Morelos. We have never dedicated a whole Runaway Wednesday to this, so I'm not sure why, because it's really good information and a lot of people are interested. So we're doing it for the first time tonight, and we are so lucky that we're joined by a couple people who are living in the gated communities here and have agreed to share some of their experiences. We have Mark Somerton, I don't know where you are on my screen, Mark, and Donna Circu. So thank you guys so much for volunteering your time. I hope you have.
Hello.
I think Mark got bumped out. There's Donna. Donna's in
Hi.
her backyard.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds not going through this.
So my name is Kim Temple, and I am a long-term resident of Puerto Morelos now. I've been living here full-time for 11 years, and my family's had a house here since 2001, so I've been around a while. I'm also the broker of Runaway Realty here in Puerto Morelos. We are a local kind of boutique real estate agency. And we focus only on the Puerto Morelos market. So we only do buying and selling in Puerto Morelos, and we love our jobs and are happy to introduce people to our beautiful town. It's a great place to live, and I know you wouldn't be here if you didn't probably agree with me. So yay for Puerto Morelos.
Kim,
Really excited.
Kim, do you want us to save our questions till later, or can we ask?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I think we'll
No problem.
Okay, 1 second. So some of you are joining for the first time. Some of you have been here a while. So thank you so much. Thrilled to share my knowledge and insights and just answer your questions about buying and living here. And today we're talking about the gated communities. If you're interested in learning more, I just want to do a shout out for our runawayrealty.com resources page. We have a ton of information on there, including a really thorough frequently asked questions and some downloadable buyer guides, including the neighborhood guide, which I think you might find really interesting. So shout out for the website. Also, we do a weekly newsletter and where we talk about life in Mexico and also about the real estate market and what's going on in Puerto Morelos. So if you'd like to get on that list, you can do that through our website. Yes, and so what I thought I would do now is this isn't a session where we're going to talk about how really to buy a property. We've covered that in other sessions, and we have a lot of other resources on that. But at the end, I can answer some general questions about that. But tonight, I really wanted to focus on what's happening in those gated communities and what you can expect there. These people in. So we're going to kind of go through the gated communities, talk to people who live there, and you can certainly ask them questions. And I think we'll just do questions kind of at the end of every little community, if that's okay with you guys. You can always use the chat box as well. Although I have to tell you that I'm on my own tonight. No one else from my team is here, so I don't know if I'll be able to see the chat and continue providing good information. Hi, Barb. Darby, welcome. They're getting on the line. All right, so does that sound good? Also, we are recording, so I see many of you have your camera off. That's fine. If you don't mind, we're gonna probably upload this to our YouTube channel. So if you don't want to be on screen, that's fine. You can turn off your camera. I think that's it. So grab your favorite drink. Mine, my husband made me, he's so funny. I'm like, no, I can just have a glass of wine. And he made me this beautiful cocktail. There, beautiful cocktail, like with the salt and the garnish. And I'm having a Paloma tonight. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Palomas, but it's my favorite drink. It's like the cousin of the margarita. Someone else in here. Just gonna have a sip. I hope someone else is having. All right. I'm gonna try to share my screen and show you the slides. Oh, so I also wanted to introduce Barbara and Dave are joining here, and they also live in Port. They just bought in a gated community, and so they live here as well. All right. share screen. Let's see. Oh no. Can you guys see that?
No,
Uh-oh.
Doesn't look good.
What is happening? Hold on. Can you see that?
No.
See you.
Oh, geez. Why? I just found this working. 1 second. Is there anyone technical who knows how to do this? No.
where are you at on the
I
screen?
swear that I just practiced this. So I'm,
At the bottom under screen share, if you click there, usually something pops up and you see all the different things. And then you have to look for your PowerPoint and click on your PowerPoint.
it's not showing me that. That's the problem. Dang it. Let me see if this works.
There you go. That might be it.
Can you
Wait.
see this?
Yep,
That's it.
Yay, yes.
Yes.
Gated communities?
good
Yes.
girl.
Yay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, coach. This is embarrassing. So I don't know how to make that full screen, but I don't want to fiddle with it. So I just want to do a little background because many of you have been around for a while will know this. But until pretty recently, I mean, within the last 10 years, certainly, there used to be really two places to buy in Puerto Morelos, the Seaside Village, which is a little 3-block deep by 10-block long village, which we know as Puerto Morelos, and then across the highway in an area called the Colonia. And there used to not be very much inventory at all in the Colonia. That's all changed now. But anyway, at the time, you were either priced out, you could be priced out of the Seaside Village and not have many other options because it was either a $200,000 property or maybe a $50,000 property, but it definitely a fixer-upper across the highway in another area. So about 10 years ago, they started promoting these gated communities, which are all located on the east side of the highway, which is the beach side. And on this map, you can see, so here's the village. Here's the road to the highway. Puntarena was the first that they started promoting, which is right next to the Pescadores neighborhood. And then Regatta was, I believe, the second. Then they added Punta Vista and more recently, all these Aldeas, which actually go up this way, but we couldn't get it all on one map, have been added. And so what's cool about that is that in these communities, which, you know, there wasn't a such thing as a gated community before these came along in Puerto Morelos, the land was offered much cheaper than you could buy in the Seaside Village. So whereas at that time we started with the gated communities, lots in the Seaside Village were about $125,000. You could get lots in Puntarena when they first advertised them for like $15,000 and they would finance you. So it was a really big change in our market that you could buy property at those price points and get financing from this developer. Not really financing. Well, yeah, I guess it was financing. They give you like 3 to 5 years to pay it off at no interest. So that was pretty recent in the history of Puerto Morelos. And since that time, I wish that I had bought lots because these communities have been wildly successful. They are very popular. The prices have, in most cases, tripled. The lot prices have tripled in value, and the homes that are being built there are very, very nice, and people are really enjoying living there. So it's been a success, which is why we're seeing more and more communities being built. But all of them are along the highway. None of them are any closer. I think somebody's gonna have to turn off their. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Okay. So, you know, most people when they start looking at property in Puerto Morelos, I know as I also feel they want to be as close to the beach as possible. which I think we all have that dream, especially if we come from a landlocked state like I did. But it's very expensive to be on the seaside village. And you can't, you can get a tiny condo for now 250,000 maybe. Houses there's one on the market right now and it's $850,000. There will be more and none of them will be under $400,000, even if they're a tear down. So that's kind of flown the coop. But in these gated communities, you can still get properties, lots from $50,000 and up, and homes from the 200,000-ish range and up. Very nice homes. So for what you would pay for a tiny condo in the seaside village, you can get a 2 or 3 bedroom home with a pool and a cute little yard in one of these gated communities. So it's really been a game changer in our real estate market. But everyone starts out looking in the seaside village, and then we have to convince them to start considering other areas. Add some people in here.
Kim, are the lots walkable to the seaside village from those?
I'm gonna cover all that.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. So in general, I just wanted to go over the general pros and cons of the gated communities, and Scott just brought up one of them, which is location. I'll discuss that more in general, but the pros of living in a gated community here are the costs of the lots and houses are so much less than the seaside village. HOA fees, everyone complains about HOA fees where they're from, but here they're really ridiculously low. I would like you to guess how much the HOA fees are for a month in a gated community here.
$55 a month.
Come on, Scott, you already knew that.
No, I just guessed. I didn't know.
All right, he's right. I'll have a drink. It's around 1,000 pesos a month.
I didn't know.
Mm.
No.
Well, he was right on. I was hoping for a much higher guess. Yeah, so they're very affordable. All of the gated communities have security. They are kind of really hard to get in and out of, even me that goes almost every day showing properties. There's usually 1 or 2 checkpoints in and out, and they do regular patrols. There's also neighborhood groups within each gated community, which is nice. Another pro of living in the gated community is that you have some control. If you live in the seaside village or the colonia and you're not in a gated community, the neighbor can have a chicken farm, 18 dogs, they can start a tortilla factory or a nightclub right next to you, and you really can't do anything about it. When you're in a gated community, there are rules about how the properties can be used, and there's a way to enforce those rules. So it's a nice way to protect your quality of life and your property values. By having some control over that. And they have beautiful common areas, which are, what I see, they appear to be maintained really nicely. The other thing is, if you're in a gated community, y'all are responsible for your own roads. And so you don't have pothole city like we have in the seaside village right now. The roads are way nicer and way better maintained than anything we have here in the village or in the colonia. You also have the buried power lines, so it's much cleaner visually, I think. And so those are just some of the pros I came up with living in a gated community. I don't know if anyone wants to add any, Mark or Donna or the Darbys. No? Are those the big ones? Okay. Cons of living in the gated community, unless you're in Puntarena, which is the closest community to the seaside village, you're probably going to need a car. You're going to be entering on the highway, except for Regatta has a side entrance, but it's would be difficult to walk on. And I know some people bike it, but it's a little bit difficult. You're probably going to have a car. I say that's a con because many people choose Puerto Morelos because it's so walkable and they love the small town feel of that and the feeling that they don't need to have a car. But once you get to the gated communities, you're probably going to want one. The other con is that there's an HOA, homeowners association, and some people just hate the thought of that. It can be good and bad. It can protect your property values, but there can also be bad management or many people not paying the HOA dues, so you can't do the projects that you want to do. So it cuts both ways. These gated communities also have very small lots. in the scheme of things. In the village, the seaside village, kind of the average lot size is 300 square meters, which is 10 meters by 30 meters. In the gated communities, it is 160 meters, which is 8 meters by 20 meters. So they're pretty narrow and deep. And that's why if you go into these communities, you'll notice that there's a lot of, people going up. If you want any kind of backyard, you have a pretty small area to build in, and you've got to build up to have your bedrooms and whatever else. You can buy more than one lot, but in general, the lots that they've put in are pretty small. The other issue, which is being solved, but eventually it'll be solved, but right now there's really an issue about getting good, reliable internet, especially in the Aldea communities, which are the furthest north. Puntarena has high-speed fiber optic internet put in, and I don't know, Donna, if you know that, does Regatta and Punta Vista have? I feel like it's coming.
They keep saying it's coming. I'll believe it when it happens, but
Yeah.
we have PVR, which we have found to be fantastic. It's
Awesome.
strong enough to run expat TV, and I never have a problem with my Wi-Fi. And the guy that runs it is great. So there are options, and it's not that expensive.
Oh, good.
Hi, Kim, it's Barb.
Hi, Barb.
Hello, sorry, I had a few technical problems. Well, yeah,
No.
in Regatta, loving it.
Okay.
We have Telmex and we have the fiber optic, so we're really good here.
Awesome.
We were lucky, I
That's
believe.
good to hear.
Yeah, so, yeah.
We just got Starlink. Starlink is now available here. We bought a condo in the Colonia and we put it there, and it's been magic. So we're thinking about putting it in our house here.
Yeah.
So anyway, that problem will be solved, but right now people are really struggling to get, in some cases, some reliable internet. In the communities, especially the further north you go. Any other cons of living in a gated community? Anyone wants to mention?
We love it. It's nice. Although, Regatta, we go down the back road to the port side. People do bike on that road. We love it here. It's great. We got the best of both worlds, actually. I
Awesome.
believe. Yeah.
To hear. And so to Scott's point, Puntarena is really the only gated community that would allow you to walk to town comfortably. Every other one you would need to get on the highway, except for Regatta, which you could go out this side road that Barbara was just talking about, which is the Crococune Road. And so arguably Puntarena is the best location, how would I say that? The best located gated community. And in fact is more expensive because of that, because you don't necessarily have to have a car there. It's very easy to just get out and walk to the beach and walk back. The other ones, you're probably going to need to have a car. But I just want to remind you, here's my fun fact of the day. We're at whichever gated community you choose, you're never more than a 10-minute drive from the beach. And that is pretty amazing to keep in mind. And once you're in your car, I don't think if it's 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, all of the communities are really very close. So I don't think one, except for Puntarena, which is a lot closer. I don't really think there's really one that's so much more amazing than the others, just because based on location. They're all in a great location. They're all in Puerto Morelos. They're all in a market that's kind of on fire and will continue to be. So it's a great place to live.
Hey, Kim, this is Joel and Brandy.
Hi.
Hi. We have a question. What about kids in the gated communities? Is there a lot? There's not?
There are. There are a lot of younger families moving to Puerto Morelos and who already live here, Mexican families, American and Canadian and European families. And so all of the communities have, they have pools, but they also have playgrounds, and they get kind of fancier and fancier the further north you go. I'm going to talk about that a little bit because they're trying to pull you away from the town. But yeah, there's definitely kids in all of these communities.
Hey,
I
Kim.
don't know if there's one that has more than the others.
Puntarena.
Okay.
Hey, Kim.
Uh-huh.
Hey, it's Scott Silverman. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I just bought in Aldeas last summer. And so with your pros and cons as far as location goes, I would have to argue that it also depends on what you're looking for. So for me, one of the reasons why Aldeas was perfect for me is because I wanted a little bit of distance from the craziness that's town. Like when we go into Puerto Morelos, especially during the high season, the
Yeah,
crowd, everything else. And so for me personally, my decision to go with Aldeas again was location, just because it had some separation from the port side. And then also what's nice about our location as well is we're far enough off from the highway where we don't get a lot of road noise. So I mean, it's actually pretty peaceful out where we're at. And like I say, I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a close walk to the beach, yeah, it's not going to happen. However, if you're looking for some peace and quiet and some tranquility, kind of in a jungle setting, then that's the place to be.
yeah, that's a great point, Scott. And yes, you're right. I wish I had more clients like you because I think people come and fall in love with the beach and feel like they have to have the beach. When really, if you're living here full time, you're not at the beach every day, usually. I mean, there's
Right.
more to life, right? So
daylight.
it can be hard to pull people away from the beach, but usually once we could at least get them to take a ride with us and experience these communities, they fall in love because they are very beautiful, lush, communities with a lot to offer. But you gotta give up wanting to be right on the beach. But it's true that being in town it's super loud. I mean, really loud. And you really can't control what's happening around you. So without further ado, let's talk about Puntarena. So Puntarena is actually right here. So this is the road, down to the beach, to the seaside village. This is the Pescadores neighborhood, and adjacent to that is Puntarena. Puntarena is interesting because it's the closest to town. I think the developer did not want to dedicate much space to open space and parks. So it probably has the least attractive, well, and it's very cute, but I would say compared to the others, it's not the fanciest parks and pools. Because they're using every square inch to sell for lots. But it's a really beautiful community, and they, the buried power lines are great. There's a ton of beautiful homes there, and you can walk to town, which is very nice. It also has 2 entrances. You don't necessarily have to use the highway to get in and out. You can come up, come up this road, you curve off over here, and you can come in a side entrance to Puntarena or off the highway. So it is nice that you may not ever need to get on the highway. You can just do everything out that back side gate. And Mark is here. Mark lives in Puntarena. Are you here,
Yeah.
Mark?
Yes. Yep.
And do you love it?
I do. Yeah, we really like it. Everything's so accessible from here. So we don't have a car. We just walk everywhere. So it's fantastic. It's
That's
like half an
amazing.
hour, maybe 25 minutes to the beach, and then Colonia is like 10 minutes, and so it's great.
And do you just walk over to the grocery store and get your groceries that way?
Yeah, just walk backpack it at the grocery store, and it's like 5 minutes there. It's perfect. Yeah.
Mhm. And how have you found like the HOA and that?
HOAs here are significantly cheaper than what a lot of my friends are paying on the west side of the 307 right now. So they're
So that's good.
You got a lot of people asking me questions because their fees are going up, and I'm like, whoa, sorry, our fees are a lot cheaper than that. So it's
Yeah.
they're good. Yeah, especially with here, if you pay the whole year up front, you get another 10% discount on your HOA fees, which is nice. So
Oh,
yeah.
that is nice. And have you found that people are friendly? Have you met neighbors and all that?
Yeah, we've met a lot of people. I would say at least half the people are here full time. And then some people, 6 to 8 months. And then there's the Airbnb ones too. But there's a lot of people that are here as full-time residents, which is nice. So we've met like a lot of people in the area. And yeah, you gotta like dogs though. A lot of people. have
Everyone
dogs.
has a dog, yeah. Well, that's Puerto Morelos. If you move here, without a dog, you will have a dog pretty soon. And so there are quite a few kids. I mean, I know a few families that live in Puntarena. Would you? Yeah, I think it's family friendly.
Yeah, I'd say at least 10 full-time people that live here with kids, like younger kids.
Yeah.
And then some with teenagers, but it's mainly, yeah, your
Mhm.
4 to 8-year-old kids and stuff like that. So it's a very family-friendly area. So you got the little playground by the pool, and then yeah, you see a lot of them just walking around. So yeah, it's a very walkable area too, as is Pescadores. So it's great.
Awesome. Any questions for Mark? No. All right. We have a few pictures of just the types of properties that you'll find in Puntarena. And that's the cute little pool. And we got the lot map here. So you can kind of see the pools over here. This is the highway. And here's the back entrance. Wait, is that the back entrance? Side entrance?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it. So they do have a couple other little parks. This one has like an outdoor gym. And this has a cool hammock garden. But the other cool thing is that this end of Puntarena backs up to the Botanic Gardens. So there will be nothing behind you there. And also this end, this side backs up to the Manglar. So nobody will be building behind there. So those are, of course, premium lots. Oh, I did mean to say that when each of these gated communities was released, they sold out completely. I shouldn't say, I'm not sure that's true for all of them, but at least in Puntarena and I believe Regatta, the lot sold out before they ever took out a tree, before the developer did anything on the land. And so they've been really successful that way. And so the developer doesn't own any lots anymore. Anytime you see a lot for sale in here, it's going to be a resale from someone who purchased it, either from the developer or from the person who purchased it from the developer in some cases. So you're not dealing with a developer anymore. The developer is long gone. Okay. Next up the road, we have Punta Vista, which is a beautiful community. That is right over here. So I can get to Donna's house in like 5 to 6 minutes from my house down here. It's not a long drive. Is that what you think, Donna, is about?
Yeah, getting here from town is easy. Getting from my house to town's a little more difficult because it's a little bit of a hairy turnaround. And a lot of people don't like it, but it's doable.
At
It's
the
a
red pyramid.
definite need a car to be here,
Yeah.
which actually isn't too bad because we don't have a lot of rentals because of that. Where I know Punta Arena does a lot of Airbnb and rentals to different people. There are very few rentals in here because if you are renting, you would have to have a car.
Oh, I lost you a little bit. The one thing I love about Punta Vista is it does only have one entrance, but that makes it very secure. They're monitoring every car that's in and out, and they're pretty tough. So it's kind of hard to get in there.
Yes.
But that makes it very secure. And if you're not going to be in your home all the time, or even if you are, but especially if you have to leave your home for a certain period of time during the year, you're going to spend part of the year somewhere else, that would make me feel much better if I knew that it was locked down.
Yes, our security is very good.
Mhm.
Hi, Kim.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to say, we just moved into Punta Vista. We spent our first month there since we purchased because we had a
I love your
renovation done.
backyard.
Thank you very much. We're very happy with it. We have been living there without a car. We take the pedestrian crossing with our bikes into the Colonia and then ride through the Colonia where it's much safer. And
Nice.
that's been working for us so far.
Yeah, we put that on here because we think that is a really nice feature. I was so scared when they were talking about bringing the Mayan train down the highway. I was like, what's gonna happen to that bridge? But now it's not coming that way, so.
Oh, it isn't going that way? We weren't sure
I
what
don't think
was
it's coming
going
down the
on.
highway.
However,
Okay.
that train station's gonna be down by Ruta de Cenotes.
Yeah. And so the other cool thing is Punta Vista is like positioned or marketed as kind of a more ecologically friendly development. And so they like left the trees in the roads. It feels a lot greener to me. And they have a beautiful, let me show you this lot plan. They have this beautiful central park with 2 pools, a gorgeous palapa. They've got like these little reading area palapas around the development, around the park, which is super cool. And I've seen them doing like water Zumba classes in there, and I'm sure they have playground equipment around there as well.
Not much.
And they have a cenote over here and a little river that goes through it. So it's very cool the way they have that set up.
The river hasn't run in 2 years.
Well,
Yeah.
the river ran one time when I was there. Yeah.
It ran one time when I've been here, and I've lived here for 4 years.
They're having water problems and they're.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have like a more shallow pool and a deeper pool. And here's just some example of the types of homes you can find there. Really, oh, I can't even believe I didn't mention this. A lot of people, when they hear the term gated community, they imagine that a developer went out and built, 300 of the same home, slightly different. That's not what is happening in these gated communities. And I should have said that at the top of this talk, because I think that's a really big difference. Most of these homes are, well, they're all custom built, in that the person bought the lot and is hiring the builder to build it. There's very few that are actually spec homes. And when the builder does that, they're usually doing maybe 1 or 2 at a time. They're not doing 50 to 100 at a time. So
That's true, Kim, but there are a whole book of guidelines you have to follow. We ended up submitting our plans 3 times before they were accepted.
You gotta have the same facades, the colors,
The-
window.
you mean when you were building?
When
So
we were
but
building.
you had a custom build. You had
Yes,
a
but
builder that,
and they will give you the outline of their specific things about color, size, how much in the front you have to leave, how much in the
Oh, I
back
see
you
what
have
you're
to
saying.
leave,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. So there are very specific rules. So you can't just come in and say, okay, I want to build this house. It has to be approved.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I shouldn't say that that's, you can do anything. No, there's
No,
rules.
you can't do anything, but you can design your own within their guidelines.
But it's
There is
cool,
a nice
right?
variety.
I do
Oh,
think
yes.
people are surprised when we drive in there because they're expecting to see a lot of the exact same home and they don't see that, which I think is very cool. But yeah, you have the consistent setback, or you're supposed to.
That's where Punta
and all that.
Punta
So,
Arena has
yeah.
their own water treatment plant. Yes,
Pardon me?
I'd like to know.
We have our own water treatment plant here also. So everything's is the same for the other ones for Punta Arena. I know Regatta does too, but
Mhm.
everything self-contained, the water treatment. And so everything's covered in your HOAs, including the water, the sewer, all the security, all the street work, all the park maintenance, everything, all of that is covered in your very small maintenance fee.
You do have.
And
the
your
water
garbage too is included.
And your garbage.
taken care of, but you have a
And
water.
so Donna, do you have recycling in Punta Vista?
Well, we
Um,
were told
kind of.
we did, and we had separate things, but when I took something down one time and I said, wait, this goes in the paper, and they said, no, we're just all putting it together, and threw it all together. So we're trying, but it hasn't gotten to that point yet. It's an attempt.
What color we have a new administration?
Awesome. So that is a good, thank you for bringing up the point about the water treatment plants. All of these gated communities have their own. It doesn't mean you can drink the water, but you're not relying on city water for sewage, for sewer.
And we can flush paper.
Really? I
Yes.
could have put that on the pros list.
That's a big deal for a lot of people. We can flush paper here.
It is a big deal for a lot of people. Okay.
guess I thought of-
We just changed our whole administration, so that does change sometimes without it's interesting with the HOA and the administrative of it, and it's a little bit of a change you have to be willing to accept the way it is here.
What
And
it's
one thing I should point out is when you buy in these gated communities, everything's in Spanish. I mean, the rules are gonna be in Spanish, the meetings are gonna be in Spanish, the HOA meetings. I mean, there will be English speaking people there, but the official language is Spanish and the binding language of the rules is Spanish. And so you have to really just accept that you're buying something in Mexico and you're gonna have to work with
Now,
that.
our administration is trying to send the emails in both the Spanish and an English version. So most of the time we do get emails in an English version too, which is very nice of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of pushback on that at the beginning, but when they realized that, a lot of expats are buying, they're gonna have to give a little bit on that. Okay. Any other questions for the people living in Punta Vista specifically?
I just thought of one more pro or con, I guess, is the construction. So you have to be willing to live with some construction happening because there are so many lots available and people are building.
Yeah, there's gonna be construction noise for quite a while, I think, in
Yeah.
all of these.
Just to be aware.
Would you say that Punta Vista is even half built? I don't
No,
think so, no.
I'd say no.
nowhere near.
maybe
Okay.
40 houses built. 40 out of 240
Yeah.
lots.
Oh,
Maybe 25% at the most.
okay. Maybe that's why it feels so green. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's on the lot
It is
here.
real green.
All right, let's move north on the road. Now we're in Regatta.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Regatta
Yes.
is one of my favorites. Regatta is right next to, you probably have seen the Crococun Zoo. So as you're coming to Puerto Morelos, you would have passed that on the left as you come from the airport. And so Regatta is just adjacent to that. And that zoo, it's not all reptiles. I've been staying away from it because I thought it was going to be scary, but actually it's a monkey preserve and they have all sorts of animals there, not just crocodiles. People love it, kids especially love it, but I know a lot of people that have gone have thought it was a really great experience. But anyway, Regatta's right there, and because it's right there, it's kind of famous for its wildlife. So there's monkeys, there's peacocks, there's, well, iguanas for sure, there's those coatis and tejones, and tell me what else, guys.
I think there's everything. There's
Yeah.
everything here. I mean, Kim, we've been here 4 weeks on Friday. Regularly, the monkeys are coming by and they drop by into one of the trees outside and they just look and they go on their merry way. Talking about the wildlife, we've got everything because we're backing on to the mangler, and then we've got like 100 feet or 100 yards, and then there's another fence to the other real thing. So it's peaceful. It's all the different birds. I haven't seen some of the other wildlife, and I try to keep away from that, but that's me. Yeah, we've got the zoo. We've got the 7-Eleven too, which is a drive-through.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. They put that up so fast.
Yeah, and I could get everything there except the kitchen sink, basically.
Wow.
You run out, you just go out there. Talking about HOA fees, ours are very cheap, and water treatment surge. We get garbage pickup 3 times a week, which I think is really good. Donna was talking about plans for building houses. Yes, here the same. One of the things is, as you know, Kim, we have a tree in the house which is covered in glass that had to stay. But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful here. Lots of children, all ages.
Mhm.
We've got 2 pools, palapas, yoga, everything. So it's good. It's a good place to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so Regatta, one of the big selling points to me for Regatta is that it has 2 entrances, one off the highway and one on the Crococun Road that goes all the way back. It dead ends at the Excellence, and then you take the beach road back to town if you want. So that would prevent you from doing that hairy turnaround well, actually it's even different. No, because Regatta, you would also have to go up and turn around, right?
Yeah, but what we do is if we go out the back entrance, we just make a left turn onto that road, or if we go out the front, we go to the Croco Kanzu entrance, pass there and just do an immediate left turn. We don't sort of come out of Regatta and then just zoom across the highway, because that can be scary, but we do the return nearly every single day. So, or Dave does, not me yet. I'm not going there yet.
Well, when I go there, I just take I like to take the back road and come into town that way because it's such a pretty drive, but.
Yeah, it is. It is. One of the things that we've learned, because before we bought here, as you know, we were renting in a gated community and we could WhatsApp security. We actually have to call them. So we speak Spanish to them. So our Spanish is improving slowly because they don't have WhatsApp. So it's pretty good.
You can't just WhatsApp when someone's coming over?
No, we have to call them and say if we have a delivery or if a visitor is coming over, who they are, and they are coming over. So yeah. So our Spanish is improving that way.
That's nice. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that I love about Regatta is it has a spectacular park and pool area. It's all like in a depression. I don't know if it was a cenote or something, but it's just gorgeous. And it backs up to that, there's usually monkeys there. There's often peacocks there. There's two pools, a shallow pool and a deeper pool. Great playground, showers, bathrooms, picnic area, covered palapa for events. Well, two palapas for events, actually.
Yeah,
Maybe.
barbecue grill. There's a grill there too.
Yeah. So really cool common areas. You can see the pictures here. And there are still lots, there are lots for sale from private owners. And homes in this neighborhood are also the lots are like 40 to 60,000, maybe a little more if you're on the backing up to the Manglar. And the houses are really ranging from about 220 to up to 500,000. So pretty big range in that one. Any questions about Regatta? Moving on. So there's several aldeas, and aldea means village. I was confused because everything was called Aldea, and I'm like, what does this mean? But apparently it means village. They're all by the same developer, and they seem to have a little bit different personality, but are pretty similar in terms of the overall plan. Aldea is the newest one. It is actually open for construction now. They're working on the infrastructure and people are building homes there. And they, I believe, still have lots from the developer. We tried to find out today and couldn't get an answer, but they're still advertising some on their website. So we think there's still lots available there from the developer. Those started more expensive, though. I believe they started compared to what the other one started at, I think they were starting at like 50 or 60,000. But they're all the same size, really. They're 160 square meters. So we're up here at Aldea. And Aldea Khan is the next one north. And you can they're not really showing us on but on Aldea Khan, you can see one of the spectacular things about these aldeas is that they have like resort style swimming pools. Really fabulous swimming pools, basketball courts, air-conditioned gyms. Some of them have a kids' playroom next to the gym. They have nice clubhouses. So they are really adding more amenities as they're trying to pull you, further away from town, which is great. If you're willing to be further away from town, you can get all those amenities that we don't even have in town. Air-conditioned gym being one of them. There's one, but it's pretty small. So those are the kind of the selling points, and they're also very beautifully done, and wide streets. All the electricity is buried. Many of the streets, they did a strategy where they're like little cul-de-sacs, so you can't drive all the way through, which I think adds to the security. Great walking paths through these. Scott, which one are you? Oh, you're in Aldea or no? Aldea Keen?
Aldea Keen.
Keen, yeah. So I'm gonna come along to that. But they're really beautiful and they seem fancier than the ones closer to town. And here's kind of an, they have these beautiful entrances as well, which are pretty spectacular. And all of them have a shallow pool, a deeper pool. I don't think we have a picture of the gym here. Let's see. Aldea has a great pool. And then over here is the gym. Some more examples of the types of homes that you can get there. Most of them are very modern. That's kind of what people are building now. Every once in a while you'll find a more traditional one, but for the most part, they're really modern. Scott, how do you like Aldea? Have you spent much time there?
So
Not yet.
I just flew down in January. I purchased the property in, I want to say we closed in August. And I've been dealing with the architect and the contractor that I'm going to be using. And we, like you've already mentioned, we had to get clearance from the developer as far as to approve our blueprints. And so in January, I finally got my blueprint approved and they did a preliminary clearing of the lot. I wanted to make sure some of the trees are protected, like one of the other guests said. So obviously if you've got a protected tree on your lot, you're going to have to adjust as far as your building design goes. Fortunately for me, I didn't have an issue. My lot's clear as far as any protected trees. So yeah, dealing with ITM, the developer, was a little bit complicated. I know Keith is an absolute saint in my book. I can't imagine trying to do this without the assistance of you guys and then Maria Jose as far as the lawyer, because the contracts and everything are all in Spanish. And so that's a nightmare to try to navigate it on my own. But I'm really happy with the location. Like I say, we got the spider monkeys and everything right there in the middle of the road. It's kind of got that jungle eco vibe. I mean, there's trees right in the middle of the road. They actually make the road around.
Yeah.
And so I've been real happy with that. But like I say, it's a process and sometimes it's a slow process and, but no, I knew that going into it. And so it really wasn't a big issue. It's an excuse to fly back down to Mexico occasionally.
That's not so terrible.
No, there's worse problems to have. But we're very about building down there and it's very kid friendly. They've got, like we've already discussed, they've got playrooms for the kids. They've got gyms, they've got walking trails. The pool area at night is lit up. So it's almost like a park-like setting. It's actually very, very nice. And I'm very excited about building and getting down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be so cool. And they're building really beautiful homes in these Aldeas. They're like kind of big giant ones. It's very nice.
We're kind of going on the Spanish colonial theme for ours. And so you can do whatever you want within reason. But like I say, the developer has the final say. There is a couple of architects down there that the developer uses quite frequently. And so they are familiar with kind of what the guidelines are. So they can kind of guide you when you're in the development process of getting a blueprint, design process, I guess, so they can kind of steer you to avoid any major hassles with the powers that be.
But is it the developer that has to approve it or is it an HOA? Or have they not given it over to the HOA yet?
That's the thing that is kind of confusing because the people that I've been talking with, they call them the developers. So the developer is ITM. I don't know if they're actually the ones that are giving the final approval or if they're just simply calling the HOA the developer. I'm not real clear.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Kim, sorry, Kim, it's Barbie Gay. We're changing our pool and we've had to submit the plans to the HOA for approval. So I'm not sure if that's the same in all gated communities, but yeah, so that's a process we've been going through too.
Oh, wow, I didn't think they would care.
Oh, apparently they
On your
do.
lot already. Oh,
Yeah, they do.
oh,
So, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's, yeah, so it's all good.
okay. So guys, any questions about these communities, buying in them, living in them? Any other questions for these people that are so nicely volunteering their time?
I have a question. This is Adam from Houston. How is the electrical service, both in the port and in the Aldeas and gated communities?
I mean, in the port, it's fine. I don't, yeah. In terms of the like reliability or,
Well, how frequent are outages and duration?
so it's gotten much better over the time I've lived here, and we rarely have outages now, and it's usually a few hours. If there's a hurricane, you know, it's a day or so. Typically, well, we've had 3 hurricanes, and that's kind of what happened. Might not have been a day for all of them, but they're pretty good about getting out when outages are reported or a transformer blows up or something. And in the port, they're trying to bury the lines, which I think will make a big difference. But the nice thing about the gated communities is they already did that. So I'm curious to hear what you all that live there in the communities have experienced.
We're pretty good as far as outages go. Like you said, hurricanes, if there's some type of a major event or something, but just to say the electric went off to go off, it doesn't hardly do that at all anymore. And we've got solar too, which is very accessible down here now. If you're thinking of building with the solar, it's amazing.
Are you muted?
Anyone else? Mark, have you guys had
Um,
outages?
Yeah, no, we've had no issues with power outages. We just had solar installed about 2 months ago. The the time for recuperation of the cost is probably like 5 or 6 years. So it's definitely something to look into if you're going to be running multiple air conditioners and pools and stuff like that. Yeah, no issues with power at all.
Hi, Kim. Dave here, the other
Hi, Dave.
half of. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
How are
How
you?
are you?
Good, good, good. So regarding the power, yeah. One thing you got to remember is that most of the water source is electric pump systems, and I know in Regatta we have our own water. Which is a well water. It's very good, but it's pumped. So so even though the power can stay on in the community, if that electricity or the power goes off to the pump station, you could be without water until they fix it. And typically we've had one issue and it took about an hour and a half. Before they got it up and running again. So yeah.
So does it make it, I mean, I don't know, maybe Donna can answer this. If you have a cistern and you have a Tinaco, you would always have water, right? You would have the backup water.
I have the cistern and we have never run out of water even when.
It's a good idea to have a backup Tinaco for that situation. You can always bypass it and only use it as you need it.
Yeah. You've always got the backup up there, but I mean it's low pressure, especially if you got no power, right?
At least you got fucking water.
Yeah, you can flush though. That's the beauty.
Well,
we did not have a Tinaco because there wasn't a hurricane here for 15 years, and then we had one and we realized, oh, this is why people have Tinacos, because
so yeah, I mean if you got a swimming pool in the bucket, you're doing okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
no fun.
No fun.
But yeah, I think the power has really gotten much better than when I first lived here. Actually, we used to have way more frequent outages.
Kim, I was wondering what the proportion of expats to Mexicans typically is in these communities.
I don't think there's any statistics available, but there seems to be a nice mix of people. Donna, you guys live there, so.
We've got a really nice mix of people. We have a huge street of French Canadian even. So it sort of is a weird combination here. We've got Mexican, we've got US expats, we've got Canadian expats, Uruguay. It's sort of everywhere and anything.
Okay, good. And then a different kind of question for if you're buying a house that's already been built in one of these developments, do they come furnished or not?
A lot of them are offered furnished unless it's a new build, in which case it's probably not furnished.
Okay, good.
But it's not
Thanks very much.
unusual to find properties sold fully furnished because people aren't, if they're leaving, they're not taking their furniture with them.
Kim, I just say, we bought a house unfurnished, and what we paid for a sofa and what we're paying to have our furniture built is by Canadian prices or American prices. There is just no comparison. I think it's working out about between $8,000 for all of the furniture upstairs, downstairs that we're having built. So that's not expensive at all, really.
So you're having beds built, or what are you having?
Well, we
built?
got the beds. We're having dining table, chairs, TV stand, bedroom nightstands for the bedrooms, the dresser drawers and everything, bench by the entrance. So yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah, that's where you can save money, is on the skilled labor. Such people.
Yeah.
People do amazing work here. Anything else? Got to be more questions, you guys. Miranda, you got no questions? Okay.
Maybe I can. I don't think I've got my camera on here. It's Mark Vogel here.
Hi.
Hi. My sister's living in Puerto Morelos, and I'm looking at buying a place there. A deal came up. It's a standalone house. It's in the older area of Puerto Morelos. And I'm just wondering how far away the beach is, I guess, or how you get there.
Well, without knowing where it is, I don't know how to tell you that. But we have a map. Download our neighborhood guide and you can check on the map there, or just Google map it.
Yeah, I've done that. It's in the Transatlantico area. Transatlantico 23 is what.
So you're about, you're not walking probably to the beach from there. Some people probably do.
Yeah, so I guess more the question is there just, looks like there's just one road that crosses the highway, like 307, is it, that goes down the coast?
There's two that you can access Puerto Morelos from. One is the main one and one is the Crococoon Road.
Okay.
But most people use the main one, which is what will be closer to that house.
Okay. I think it says 8 or 10 minutes, so that's by car, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Kim. This is Gary, Donna's husband. Just a kind of for an interesting point with the mine train coming in. I'm hearing rumors that road going into town to Puerto Morelos on the port side is going to be made 4 lane. I heard rumors. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I heard that rumor too. I don't know if it's true. It would be nice. Right now, if there's a wreck on that road, it ruins everything because no one can get past it. But yeah, I've heard that as well. I don't know when to get upset about it. I guess when they start doing something.
Well, it's all got to do with the mine train stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a big project. And if you drive out the Ruta de Cenotes, you can, it's crazy the scale of it. Okay, guys, any other questions? Free for all?
Just Barb, I was
Barb.
just, I don't know what the Mayan train is. Could you tell me what the Mayan train is?
It's a big public works project where they're building a train from, is it Cancun is the beginning of it?
Yeah,
Cancun down to
Tulum and all the way back up.
further
goes,
than Tulum.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see it's down to Bacalar.
It goes down to Bacalar, and then it goes west, and then it heads back north again, up by Merida and all that.
Big
So
loop.
it's a high-speed passenger train to open up those areas to more tourism, which will be great, but there's been a lot of drama and they've changed the route several times and everyone's unhappy with where the route, it's going to mess somebody up. So
Okay.
First it was coming down the highway, now it's out in the jungle, and there's problems with both of those things. But it will provide a way to access areas without having to drive a car, which were previously inaccessible. So in that sense, I think it'll be nice, but it's caused a lot of drama.
No doubt.
Any other questions? You guys are a quiet bunch. I feel like more cocktails would make this a better party.
How often, Mark Vogel here again, how often would you be having a meeting like this, a Zoom meeting?
We do them, we're trying to do them every other week in high season.
Okay,
Every week was getting to be too much, so we went to every other week. And I'm actually not sure what we're doing on the next one, but if you follow us, well, there's a few ways to find out. You can follow our Runaway Realty on Facebook.
Okay.
Join our Facebook group, which is called Puerto Morelos Life.
I'm on there. Yep.
All right. Or if you sign up on our website on the resource page, you can sign up for Runaway Wednesday, and then you'll get reminder emails when the next one is coming.
Okay, great. I've
So
got more. I just need to get my questions in a row, maybe for next time. I just got home from work, so.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
And you can just contact me. It's Kim@runawayrealty.com if you come up with some questions. Or if John, if you look at, well, no, Mark, right? If you look at our, we have some downloadable resources on runawayrealty.com, which are really helpful for buyers.
Okay.
Who are just starting to think about it, but I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. That's nice. Thanks. Yeah.
And I can help you buy that house.
Yeah. Well, I did.
Here's a plug for me.
I was on Google Earth and did the street. I went down the street and looked at the places on both sides. But anyways, yeah, I'm supposed to get more info on this shortly. Anyway.
Awesome.
Can I just ask you a question about that? Yeah, I went on and downloaded the resources while we were talking because I was like, oh, that's cool. You can do this and see everything. How up to date is when you look at Google Earth and you look down at Puerto Morelos? I'm thinking it's like it could be 4 years old. Like where is it at with the construction?
Well, yeah, they don't have all the gated communities on there.
No.
And certainly not all the things that are happening in the Colonia to the west of town. But I can't tell you what year it's current through.
Google Maps.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So it's not showing everything.
That's fine.
For sure.
The only way you would find that out would be to go through those communities and see.
What are you looking for specifically?
Just to see how populated they are and that kind of thing and where they're populated. Like, if you're looking at a house or something that you want to go and view, it could be there's no houses around it. There could be a lot of houses around it. So I was just looking at some of those things.
Well, the other tricky thing is we're really in a jungle, and so it can be very hard to see what houses are built because there's a lot of tree cover. We find that because we try to do drones. Sometimes if people are going to buy virtually, we'll do a drone video to try to show the whole area, but it's kind of almost impossible when there's so many so much jungle canopy over everything.
That
So,
makes sense. Thank you.
sure.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, you guys have been great. Thank you so much. We're gonna sign off. We'll post this on YouTube hopefully tomorrow. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Mark. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, all the Darbies. I feel like I'm missing someone. Lynn, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your information.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye.
Hasta
Bye.
luego.